everybody, Chris, the old-ass retro gamer here, back with another video game collection live stream. This is the final part of my PlayStation 4 collection. I have so many games for the PlayStation 4 that it took 3 freaking streams just so I could talk about all of them. I don't know if that is sad or if it's awesome. You guys let me know. Welcome, Peter. Welcome, 8-Bit Glitch. Glad to see both of you here already. It's awesome, awesome, awesomeness. So, yeah, took a little while getting everything ready, trying to filter out all of the PlayStation VR games that I had in my collection for this last chunk. That's going to be a video in itself. That's next week, just so you guys know. But, yeah, I have a lot of rad stuff here. A lot of it I've actually played. I know that's the problem I seem to have whenever I do one of these live streams. I talk about all these games that I don't actually... that I own, have owned for years, haven't actually played. Neo Genesis, you're killing me, dude. PlayStation 4. Shall we just get right into the games? I'll bring it up anyway. I do it every time I do one of these streams. That this is not meant to brag. I'm not here to just show off my collection, because, bragging rights type of thing. No, this is essentially, it's good content for the channel. Get to talk about some video games since I've been very light on the edited content recently. And the other reason is that it's a good visual record of everything in my collection, so I have it out there in the world in case, I need it for insurance purposes. Fire, robbery, floor collapses from having too much crap in my collection. So it's just good to have out there to, instead of just saying, hey, I had all these games, insurance company, where's my money? I can actually say, look at all this. Yeah, sinkhole, you never know. The plague wipes everybody out, zombie apocalypse. I never brag about Android Assault. It's right there. It's right down there. It's right down there. Zombie apocalypse. Anyway, so let's just get right into the games. I think I have the right stack here. Yes. Starting off with yet another limited run. If you guys haven't figured it out yet, limited run is like the bulk of my PlayStation 4 collection is all from limited run games. Same with my Vita collection. And when I get to the Switch stuff, it's kind of going to be like that too. But here we have Shadow Complex Remastered. This was a digital game that I actually downloaded on the Xbox 360. It's like a Metroidvania type game, kind of stealthy. I played it for a while. I got kind of far in it, but I never actually completed it. And I ended up, I think, deleting it. I don't think I have it on my Xbox anymore because when I bought my new 360 and I was transferring everything from the old one to the new one, I don't remember seeing it there. So I think I deleted it. So I was super thrilled when I saw that we're getting a physical copy for the PS4, and it's been remastered, so better graphics, better sound, whatever. I don't know what it is. But it was a fun game. That's why I haven't played it, because I have played it before. That's why I haven't opened this, because I have played it before. So there's that. Limited run is the shiz. Okay, so I need to put them like this. Okay. Next up is Shadow of the Beast. This is a remake of a classic Amiga game that I don't think we ever got over here for the Amiga. We did get ports of it for the Genesis and the Sega CD. We, I think, only got the first 2 games in the series. There was actually 3. We got part 1 and 2 for the Genesis, which I do own. We also got part 2 for the Sega CD, but part 3 never came out over here for some reason, if I remember correctly. It's by Psygnosis. I remember, if you've been watching my channel for a while, years ago, maybe like 3 years ago, I was doing a series. I only made one episode of it called Psygnosis Quest, where I was trying to collect all the games released by Psygnosis, which was a British game developer. All the console games that they had released over the years. Shadow of the Beast was one of them. So that was one of the reasons why I picked this up, even though it was not developed by Psygnosis. It was made by a completely different company. But I remember I had Shadow of the Beast on the Genesis back in the day. I got real excited about seeing a copy of it at the local Funcoland. Brought it home, and I was like, what is this game? I don't understand what I'm supposed to be doing. And I thought it was supposed to be like a Castlevania-style game, and it was more like an adventure game with a little bit of beat-em-up stuff going on in it, and it kind of confused me. But then we got the remaster, and I remember this came out digitally. You could download it on your PlayStation 4, but we never got it physically. It did come out physically in, I think, Was that China? Yeah, China got the physical version. I ordered this off of PlayAsia. No, I ordered this off of Amazon.com. Surprisingly, I found this on Amazon. There was a seller in China that was selling this on the US version of Amazon, and I picked it up from him. It was not that expensive. I think I paid like $30 for it. And I was actually streaming this on Twitch for a little while, and it was really fun. It is a side-scrolling... They did make it 2D. Even though it is current modern-day technology, it is a 2D game just like the old one. And they added a lot of stuff to it. There's like magic attacks and combos, and there's like finishing moves and stuff like that. But yeah, it's basically you get turned into a monster and you're trying to kill the person who did it to you. They've kidnapped a baby. I think they're going to sacrifice it, and you have to get to it before it dies. And it was actually pretty fun. I think I streamed it like 3 times on Twitch, and I really liked it. I got stuck at one particular part, and I never continued with it. I need to complete it. But I did like it. I liked it a lot. I liked it more than the original Genesis one. Here's a good one. Another remaster. Shadow of the Colossus, the special edition. So, well off good. Laura Dannon? Damn, she's the queen, man. I own this on the PS2. I own this on the PlayStation 3 in a compilation with Ico, and now I own it on the PlayStation 4. Do I really need that many copies of Shadow of the Colossus? Yes, I do, because it's a fantastic game. Well off good. Out of the way, Peck. Anyway. So, I almost didn't get this version of it. So, I've been putting off pre-ordering this on Amazon for the longest time, and then, like, all of a sudden the game was out. Like, it was released, and everyone was talking about, I got my special edition in the mail today, and I was like, ah, crap, I completely missed out on that. And I was just going to go and get the standard edition, but then I was on Instagram, and Kinsey Burke, who's on the Metal Jesus crew, I follow her, and I also follow the video game store she works at, Another Castle. And Another Castle put up a post where it was like, these are all the new things that we've gotten in today for the store. If you want any of them, let us know. So I contacted the store through Kinsey, and I was like, hey, I would really like that Shadow of the Colossus special edition that you had in that picture on Instagram. Would you be willing to ship to Chicago from Seattle? And they were like, yeah, sure. Just pay the extra, the shipping or whatever, and we'll do it. And that's how I ended up getting this. I got this through Kinsey Burke at Another Castle. And I don't think the only thing it really comes with is you get a couple of extra items, and you get a skin for your horse. Nothing really special, but the steelbook that comes with it, art postcards, printed manual, 2 custom themes, Colossi avatar set, world map, and Colossi stickers. Yeah, there's like a big ass map in here. Yeah, no, the stickers and stuff. Yay, don't give a crap. But we got the poster thingy here, and the postcard. Sorry, postcards, plural. Hang on a second. Yeah. And I actually did stream this. I think I streamed this one twice on Twitch. And it's a really good remaster of the game. Only issue is, because this game came out on the PlayStation 2 originally, the controls really kind of show their age. Controlling the main character and the horse and all that is kind of wonky. I wish they kind of fixed it a little bit, for modern day consoles, the way that we're used to controlling things. Outside of that, it's pretty fantastic. It looks amazing. I can't say enough good things about the Shadow of the Colossus remaster. Next up, we have the limited steelbook edition of Shadow of the Tomb Raider. This is the 3rd Tomb Raider game, and arguably my favorite in the reboot series. You have, just Tomb Raider, then Rise of the Tomb Raider, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I've played all 3 of them. I played all 3 of them in a row. Once I finished Tomb Raider, I went right into Rise of the Tomb Raider. Once I finished that, I went right into Shadow. I really didn't have any intention of buying this one right away because I knew that there were DLC packs coming out for this with extra content, and I was like, I'll just wait for that complete edition to come out. But I was at a movie theater, had a little tummy ache like I did last week, while I was sitting in the theater before the movie started, and I was like, I need to use the toilet, and while I was sitting on the shitter, I was surfing on Amazon, and then Jason of Corpse Flood Gaming texts me and says, hey, the Shadow of the Tomb Raider Steelbook Edition is half price on Amazon right now. I was like, well, I'm on Amazon right now, let me go check that out. And sure enough, I bought it while I was dropping a deuce. And it showed up, and I played through it. It's way longer than the other. I mean, this is like if you were to take the Tomb Raider reboot and Rise of the Tomb Raider and combine them together. That's how long this game is. It is really long. It is a huge, epic game with a really satisfying finale. It ends in a very, like, the story ends in a great place. Very satisfying for the storyline that was being built up through the 3 games. I loved it, absolutely. I don't know if they should make another one. I don't think they are. I think if they are going to do anything else with Tomb Raider, they're going to reboot it again. But if they do decide to continue on with it, it would be kind of cool to see, like, an older Lara, like, have Lara, like, maybe in her 30s or 40s, and something happens instead of having, like, the young Lara. So I'm curious to see what they do with the franchise after this, because this obviously made a ton of money. They're going to keep pumping these out until they, stop becoming a cash cow. So I'm kind of curious what they're going to do, but I absolutely loved Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Great fun, great story, great platforming, everything about it. A lot of stupid costumes that you can unlock for your character, which I thought was kind of distracting from what was going on in the game. Here's another one I was streaming on Twitch. It's Shadow Warrior. Part 2 came out through Limited Run Games. I think it was Special Reserve Games was offering like a limited version of Part 2, which was only getting like a real small physical run. And man, I dropped the ball on that big time. I will probably never be able to get a copy of Part 2 physically, because I think it's super expensive now. But anyway, Shadow Warrior is kind of like Red Steel on the Wii, where it's a first-person shooter where it has gunplay and swordplay in the first person, and magic also. There's weird controller movements you need to do to pull off magic attacks. You can heal yourself and all that, and there's like demons coming at you at all times. It is really, really fun. It is real hectic. It's like you could tell that Doom 2016 kind of took some things from this, the way it's so hectic and you can't stop moving. I do remember this is a remake of a game that came out, I think, in the 90s on like PCs or something. It was kind of like Doom or Quake or something like that. It's fantastic. I wish I could get my hands on the sequel. I might still try. Maybe I'll find someone slipping out there. Here's some more limited run goodness. You're still working through Rise? Rise is a good game. The only problem I have with Rise is I think the villain is very generic. But outside of that, it was a fun-ass game. Got these through limited run. Church, if you're here, I'm going to talk about your girl. You got the Shantaes. Got Shantae, Risky's Revenge, the director's cut, and Shantae and the Pirate's Curse. I don't know which one is part 2 and which one is part 3. I want to say that Risky's Revenge is 2 and Pirate's Curse is part 3. Part 4 is... It's sitting right over there on my shelf with the Switch games. I can't read it from here because it's kind of in the dark. But part 5 is coming out tomorrow, I think, through limited run. So... got to jump on that because we all know that Shantae is a popular franchise because WayForward developed these and they're awesome. Haven't played either of these yet. I have played the 4th game quite extensively, but I really need to pop these open and give them some play. But they're 2D, hand-drawn animation, platformers. I've played the Game Boy. I played the Game Boy Color game on my 3DS. I downloaded it through the Nintendo shop. And it's actually pretty fun, not paying $600 for a cartridge of it, though. But I really enjoy the Shantae games. I really need to play 2 and 3, though, to find out what the hubbub's all about when it comes to those. What about those has made people so crazy that they had to make a 4th and now a 5th game? I haven't played these either. I've played one of them in the past. We're talking Shenmue 1 and 2 Remaster Collection. I've played Shenmue 1 quite a bit on the Dreamcast back in the day when it first came out. And there was like, people loved it, people hated it. I think it's still like that right now. People still either love it or hate it. I was kind of indifferent. Because I knew that the lead character, Ryo, was from Virtua Fighter. And I was expecting there to be a lot more action in this than there actually was. That kind of disappointed me. But I did have fun exploring the city and talking to all the people and all the kind of stupid questy things that you had to do, like the fetch quest stuff. I enjoyed it, but there was a point where I just got tired of it, and I needed to play something else, and I always said I was going to go back to Shenmue once I played something a little more fast-paced for a while, and I just never did. And I ended up buying Part 2 for the Xbox, because Part 2 did come out for the Dreamcast also, only in, I think, the UK and in Japan. but we got a port of it to the Xbox out here. I picked it up used at a Software Etc., but I never played it because I was like, I need to finish playing the first one. I just never did. So this is my chance to play through both of them. I ended up watching Musty Hobbit stream most of part 1, and I kind of now know how the game ends, so... But I do need to play through these. I need to experience them for myself. And then there's Shenmue 3. This was the most successful video game Kickstarter ever, from what I understand. The moment they announced this at that whatever E3 it was, like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, I think they said their goal was hit that night when they first opened up the Kickstarter. I never did donate to it. I was just kind of like, that game is going to be so freaking popular. There's so many people that have been waiting for Part 3. I'm not going to give them any money because I'll just buy it at the store, because even though they're saying that it's only going to be able to be given to people from that donated through the Kickstarter, I know it's going to be so popular, they're going to just put it out for sale. And they did. I got this off of Amazon. Just like Mighty Number 9 went up for sale, just like Bloodstain went up for sale, so... Still waiting on the rest of my rewards. You got screwed, TJ. You're probably going to get those in 2022, 23, 24. Whenever we're allowed to go back outside and have fun. But, by the way, welcome, TJ. Good to see you. But, yeah, I need to play the others before I can play this. But I hear it's actually from fans that I know. It's Rocket Sauce and Adam Koralik. They say that it's kind of underwhelming, but there are DLC story expansions that have been coming out for it, so maybe it'll get fixed that way. You got like 3 versions of the game too? Jesus. I like Shenmue. I don't like Shenmue that much. That's why I really didn't donate. I was kind of like I said, I was indifferent on the franchise, so I was just kind of like, if it comes out physically, it comes out physically. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Luckily, it did. I will eventually get around to playing it. I picked this up at a GameStop just because it was dirt cheap and it sounded kind of interesting, but I have not played it yet. Big surprise! We're talking Silver Case, or The Silver Case. It's like a murder mystery type of game. It says, in 1999, the 24 wards, a string of mysterious serial killings plague the city. The detectives of the 24 wards Heinous Crimes Unit, is that like SVU? Have their eyes set on one man, Kamui Uehara, legendary serial killer and assassin of a number of government officials 20 years prior to the now infamous Silver Case. However, nobody knows the true identity of Kamui. Has he really returned? Who is this infamous serial killer? It sounded interesting while I was standing at the store, and I do believe it was a buy 2 get 1 free sale that I was there for. And this was one of the games that I picked up because I was like, I've never heard of this. It sounds kind of cool. Just never got around to playing it. Played the Silver Case, threw 3 hours into it, didn't really get into it. Yeah, it just sounded different. I was like, oh, it's a murder mystery type of game. I haven't played something like that since, what's it called? The Quantic Dream game that came out on the PS3. That came out before Beyond Two Souls. I can never remember the name of it. The one that was like playing 7. Yeah. Somebody knows the name of it. I can't, for the life of me, I cannot recall. Heavy Rain. Heavy Rain. It sounded like Heavy Rain to me. The Sinking City. Picked this one up at I keep on wanting to say Half Price Books. At GameStop. I picked this up when they had a sale about 2 months ago, right before like the stay-at-home order came in. And the reason I picked this one up is it's all about H.P. Lovecraft and Cthulhu stuff, and I love that kind of shit. So, it sounded really interesting. It looks like a third-person action game with Cthulhu monsters and guns and detective-y stuff. So, it sounded interesting, so I figured I'd pick it up. Here's another limited run series. We've got Cyrillum and Cyrillum 2. I also have Cyrillum 3 ordered through limited run. Why I ordered it, I don't know, since I haven't played the first 2, but kind of like the collector OCD person in me is like, well, you've got the first 2, you might as well have the third. But these are old school RPGs. They look kind of like a mix between Final Fantasy and Ultima. 2 things that I really enjoy. So I wanted to pick up, that's why I picked up the first one. Sorry, the first one. Like I said, RPGs never end up getting around to playing them. So I was like, oh, when I finally get around to playing that, I can play part 2. And now there's a third one. I was like, holy shit, is this series ever going to end? Here's another limited run. This one pissed off, I think, every single person that ordered it. We're talking Skullgirls Second Encore. It's a one-on-one fighting game. that I do believe came out in Japan like years before, like 2 years before this came out through limited run. There were so many issues with this getting released that it like delayed the game's release for I think a year. It was all about, I think, the Japanese voice track. There was some sort of a legal wrangle, and they couldn't get through it, and there was just all this negotiation going on between Limited Run and the company that made it. Was it Lab Zero or whatever? And it didn't come out for like a year. Like, I ordered this the day it was put up for sale, and it didn't show up for, I think, more than a year. I know Radical Reggie couldn't wait anymore, even though he had ordered it through Limited Run. He just went, fuck it, and went to Play Asia and ordered it through there. Still got his copy through Limited Run, but it's a one-on-one fighting game. Haven't had a chance to play it yet. It is still sealed. But like I keep on saying with all these Limited Run games, I never know which ones I'm going to keep, which ones I'm going to sell. So until the time comes where I'm definitely going to pop that disc into my PlayStation 4 to play it, it's going to remain sealed. Kind of like Skyforce Anniversary. This is a vertically scrolling shmup. And I was like, ooh, cool, another shmup to add to the collection. Gotta have it. Haven't had a chance to play it yet. But Metal Jesus swears by this one. He says it's one of the best ones on the PS4. This one I have played. I have streamed this a lot on Twitch. It was one of the first games I think I ever did stream on Twitch. I remember Joel Valley from Media Glitch, back when he was like in the basement set on Media Glitch, when they were like sitting on the couch, talking in the basement with the TV going on behind them and all that. He was buying digital games, but he was making cases for the digital games that he had bought so he could put them on his shelf as if he owned a physical copy. And he talked about this game, and I thought it sounded really interesting. We're talking Slain Back to Hell, or Back from Hell, and he was like, it's a Metroidvania / beat 'em up with like Iced Earth music, like metal music and Iced Earth like album cover artwork and stuff. It was like you're playing through an Iced Earth album cover collection. And I was like, that sounds really awesome. Metal as F. Metal AF. And it is. It's awesome. It actually has music by the former Celtic Frost guitarist, which is pretty awesome. I will admit the music is fantastic. And I think I streamed this like 3 times, and I got stuck at one point. I didn't have enough health to beat like a guy that was coming at me, and I would constantly try different ways of defeating him, and I couldn't do it. I think I tried like 20 times, and I was like, the hell with this, and I like rage quit. But I need to go back to it. I might just start over and play through it again, but everyone tells me the game's absolutely fantastic. It's all pixel art, looks like a 16-bit game, kind of like Blackthorn, but it is absolutely fantastic. Everything about it I thought was great. It is a little on the difficult side, but that's not a bad thing. Pick this one up through the Square Enix website. They had one of those discount sales. I've talked about it in other streams, depending on what console it was. I picked up Sleeping Dogs, the Definitive Edition. This is like a Yakuza version of Grand Theft Auto, from what it sounds like. A lot of people told me that this is like really, really good, and that's why I picked it up. I got it for like $10. Just haven't had time to sink into an open world game, because when I do play them, I played Spider-Man, or I played Mad Max, or I played Horizon Zero Dawn, stuff like that. I just haven't gotten around to trying this one out yet, but it looks pretty awesome. I think that originally came out last generation. Got this at GameStop. It was an exclusive to GameStop. Song of the Deep. It's by Insomniac Games, the people who made the new Spider-Man game, which I absolutely love. And it's like an underwater adventure shmup. You're in a little submarine. And it looks kind of cool. I just never got around to playing it. It's really short from what I understand. Next up is one of my favorite games, whatever year it was that this came out. Was it last year? Come on. Where are you? What year did you come out? 2018, so this was from 2 years ago. And we're talking Soul Calibur 6. This is the deluxe edition. I got this off of Amazon. Soul Calibur is one of my favorite fighting game franchises, but Part 4 was fun, but I didn't think it was like the greatest thing ever, so I kind of skipped 5. I didn't actually pick up my first copy of 5 until last year. I still need to play that. But Part 6, I played the living crap out of. I got the Steelbook edition, the deluxe edition. Comes with the soundtrack compilation as well as the game in here and the Steelbook. Also has some codes for some extra shiz. I get a season pass of 5 packs with the code. But the coolest thing about this Steelbook is that it talks.
Transcending history and the world. A tale of souls and swords, eternally retold. A legend
the dumbest stuff that announcer says. But it's a great game. It has an awesome, epic, really long story mode. I mean, like, it is beyond epic. And I played this online. I streamed myself playing Radical Reggie at this on Twitch, and I whooped his ass. It's a great addition to the franchise. I absolutely love it. My soul still the fire burns. It's a great game. I absolutely love it. Like, I got back into the franchise because of that one, and I went back and I started playing from the beginning. I started playing Soul Blade on my PS1, and then I was playing Soul Calibur on my Dreamcast. I went back and played Soul Calibur 2 on my Xbox, and now I want to go back and get a copy of Soul Calibur 2 for the PS2 and a copy for the GameCube, because each have that exclusive character for each console. So now I kind of want to have one of each. So yeah, it really kind of reintroduced me to the franchise. This is another okay. So this franchise, I originally started finding games in this franchise for all these different consoles whenever I would go to Half Price. Now I'm mixing that up. Half Price Books. I would go there and I'd find another Warhammer game. I'd find one for the PlayStation 1. I'd find one for the PSP. I'd find one for the Xbox 360. And every time I would go there, I'd be like, there's another one. Let's do it. Because a bunch of my friends are into those tabletop RPGs like Warhammer 20 or 40K and Space Hulk and Necromunda and all that kind of stuff. So I hear about it through them all the time. I'm not really into that kind of tabletop gaming, the ones that require you to use like rulers and shit. So I keep on buying these so I actually can have conversations with them about this thing that I'm not really into. I'll play it in video game form, but not in tabletop form. But then, like, this generation of consoles, all of a sudden, like, there was, like, one company just released, like, a shitload of the games from this, from Games Workshop. We're talking Space Hulk. Why is this rattling? Oh, because the case is all busted up. That's awesome. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Best Buy. I got these through Best Buy, through a website sale. Awesome. They sent me a busted up one. That's amazeballs. But this is Space Hulk. I do believe these came out on Steam also, but this is a first-person shooter strategy game. I also have... Here's the thing. I have a Space Hulk game for my 3DO, and I'm wondering if this is a remaster of it. These are all budget games, by the way, too. So I need to play this to find out if that is the case. And then we have Space Hulk Deathwing Enhanced Edition. This one I do believe is the strategy game. Four-player cooperative multiplayer. Yeah, this is the tactical tactical strategy game that's in the same universe. And then we also have Space Hulk Ascension, which is kind of like playing XCOM, if I remember correctly. Yeah, like I want to say whatever this company is, Hoplite Research. Like I went to a GameStop and there was like 4 games in a like just sitting on the shelf that came out at the same time with the Space Hulk name on it. There's another one that's called Space Hulk Tactics. That's the one that's the hardest to find. I still need to get it. That looks really fun too. Here's probably the best game I played. Well, I started playing it like right at the end of December. I finally completed this, I want to say in February. We're talking the Game of the Year edition of Marvel's Spider-Man. This is the one by Insomniac. Open world Spider-Man game. It's absolutely fantastic. It took me a while to complete it because I was like taking my time trying to beat it. I didn't want it to end because I was enjoying myself so much. And I still have one more DLC pack to beat. I beat the one where it had to do with Black Cat. I beat the first one that has to do with the Mafia. Now I'm on the second one that has to do with the Mafia, and that's the one... What's the name of them? That doesn't really say on here. Shit. Yeah. What's the name of that girl with the pink helmet that's like doing the streaming crap? That stuff pisses me off. Spoodermane. What's the character's name? Not Pinball. That is the worst part of this game. Some of the side mission things that you are required to do to advance the story are garbage. Outside of that, it's fantastic. Web slinging is super fun and satisfying. Probably the best time I've had doing that since Spider-Man 2 for the Xbox. The combat's really fun. All the different moves you can unlock. Unlocking all the costumes and stuff that really don't do anything to your character. Just change the look. But it's really cool. They've got all these bizarre ones, like there's a negative Spider-Man costume that's kind of neat. There's one that makes him look like the Ghost Rider version of Spider-Man, which is kind of cool. I like playing as the Future Foundation Spider-Man. I like the white and black outfit. I thought that was really neat looking. And the storyline, the characters are great. The acting, the voice acting and all that is fantastic. All the motion capture, I absolutely loved this game. It was probably my favorite game that I started playing it last year, so technically I'm considering it the best game I played last year. Okay, so I debated whether I was going to talk about this in this video or the VR one, but we have Star Wars Battlefront. I originally bought this on the Xbox One because one of my friends who I was going to be playing this with purchased it on the Xbox One, so I got it for the Xbox One. I got it for the Xbox One so I could play along with him. And I think we did that like a few times, but I eventually lost interest in it because I didn't really like the first-person shooting online portion of this. I'm not really into the online games, but to be able to play with friends online, is fun if I have the option. I sucked at the first-person shooting part because I'm not willing to pay for all this extra gear and perks and stuff just so I can whoop everyone's ass. But I was really, really good at the starship combat. Like, you have no idea. I dominated that. Every time I would play around, I'd always come in first. But I ended up selling that version and getting this at a GameStop for like $3 because there was a PlayStation VR mission that you could play if you had this. So, like I said, I debated whether I was going to put this in the VR version. I might talk about it in the VR video also. But that's the only reason this is in my collection. I'm actually going to put that aside so I can put it in the stack of VR games. But we have Battlefront 2, which everyone hated when it first came out, but now this is like such a fantastic game. It does have a single-player story mode, which is the reason I bought it in the first place. Once I found out that it wasn't just completely online like the original game, I got this like I want to say half off around Christmas time, the year that it came out. And the story mode is pretty short, but it is very fun. A lot of great characters, a lot of insight into like stuff that happened after Return of the Jedi. I really loved it. And now the online portion has expanded beyond anything you could have imagined. Like, they just released another world you can play on, I think it was the one from Rogue One. And 2 weekends ago, my friend Justin contacted me, and he's just like, oh, they're doing like a triple XP weekend, and they just released a new stage you can play on. You want to play this weekend? And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll reinstall it. 114 freaking gigabytes of it. But I was playing this for about 4 hours that day, and I had a blast. I hadn't played this since it first came out, and it's absolutely fantastic. It's everything I wanted in a Star Wars game, online one. This is fantastic. I absolutely love it. What's up, Joel? How's it going, dude? Welcome, welcome. And adding on to the Star Wars stuff, Limited Run has been doing a bunch of Star Wars games. They're repackaging like the cartridge games they're making repros of them and like putting them on card backs like you would see for an action figure from back in the 80s, which I think is stupid as hell. But they've also been re-releasing the disc-based ones, so I had to pick those up because one of my goals is to get all the Star Wars games. If I have the cartridge version, I'm not buying a reproduction. But if there's an official, disc version, I'll get it. Like Star Wars Bounty Hunter, I have this for the Xbox. It's a pretty decent Star Wars game where you play as Jango Fett. It's okay. I just don't know if there's anything that's been done to it to remaster it or to make the controls a little bit more like what we are used to now. Can't really say because I haven't opened it yet. Have played this one, though. Joel knows all about this one. I watched Joel stream this game. He was going to he was going to try to beat it in one day on stream, and I think he did. And I had really no interest in picking this up on day one. And I was at work one day. I was on lunch, and I just happened to go on YouTube, and I saw that he was streaming this. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll watch Joel stream this for a while. And watching him play it convinced me that I needed to go out and get a copy of it right then and there. So I went and ordered a copy from Best Buy, and after work I went and picked it up. And we're talking Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I picked up the deluxe edition. This is probably the best Star Wars game I've played in years. It's like if you were to take Dark Souls and Uncharted and put it in the Star Wars universe. It is so much fun. I loved every single character in it. I love the main character. I love the combat. I love the way everything worked in it. The ending is absolutely fantastic. Leaves it open for, I don't know how many sequels they're planning on making in this series. Best Star Wars game I've played in a long, long time. You did beat it in one day? Yeah, I remember you said you rented it from the Redbox. But yeah, thanks for turning me on to this game. Otherwise, I probably would still be waiting on a copy of it getting discounted for like $20 and buying it then. But I played through that so fast, I just couldn't get enough of it. And another Star Wars game we've got is another one from Limited Run. We got Star Wars Racer Revenge. This is the sequel to Episode 1 Racer. And I actually like this more than Episode 1 Racer. Episode 1 Racer is fun. This one just kind of tweaked everything and made it a little more streamlined, made it more fun. A lot more varied environments to race through, a lot more pod racers to choose from and all that. It was just a little more of a polished package, so definitely wanted to pick up the disc version of this. Got this because Metal Jesus talked about this in a video. And it only came out in Japan physically, so I ordered it through eBay. I got it from a guy in Japan through eBay. It's called Steel Rats. And it's essentially a platformer, but you're on a motorcycle. You're riding on a motorcycle from like right to left, and it's like a running / platform game. And it looked really strange and fun, so I picked it up and said, why not? This one I got because Scott Squatch from Video Game Sellers said that this game had a very small run and that it would probably be worth a lot of money in the future. So he was like, pick this up while you can because I don't see it being on store shelves for very long. And I ran out and I picked up a copy of it. I found it at Best Buy of all places, and we're talking stick it to the man. And then it turns out that there was hundreds of thousands of copies of this out there, and every single store had hundreds of them and couldn't get rid of them. So it did not become like the must-have game for the PS4. But it's a decent like 3D adventure game. But the thing is, you have like back in the day, in the vending machines, you would get like that sticky rope that had like a hand on the end of it, and you could like stick it to the wall and make it maybe pick up a coin off the ground. You have that coming off of your brain, and that's your mode of attack. It's kind of like Stretch Panic if you've ever played that for the PS2. It's actually pretty fun. It's just a little one note. I liked it. It was just okay. It got kind of tiring after a little while. Here's another one from Limited Run. Haven't played it yet. It's called Stick Bold, a dodgeball adventure. And it sounded so strange. I was like, yeah, I think I need that in my life. And I haven't played it yet, so I cannot comment on it. But you look at the pics. It looks like dodgeball. Kind of the way someone described this to me was it's kind of like Golf Story with dodgeball. So I was kind of like, all right, sure, whatever. This is the Couch Overtime Anniversary Edition. Anniversary of what, a year? I don't know. I'll eventually get around to playing it. I haven't played this yet because another version of this just got released not too long ago, and I was kind of pissed about it. We're talking Street Fighter V, the arcade edition. I think there's another version of this that just got released. But I waited forever to buy this because I refused to buy the original version because it didn't have a single-player mode, like an offline mode. I had pre-ordered it, the version that came with the Ryu statuette. I wanted that thing so bad, and then the day that it was going to get shipped, I found out that there was absolutely zero offline mode. Like, you could only play online matches, and I canceled that shit, like, with 15 minutes left before they picked it off the shelf and shipped it to me. Thankfully, so I didn't have to pay for that, because I would have been mad as hell. So I waited and waited and waited until Capcom got off their ass and realized that people did want a single-player mode, and that was the arcade edition. So I picked this up at a closing Toys R Us for half off, and I think it was $40, and I got it for $20. So I was like, yes, and now I hear there's another version of it out there that's got even more stuff in it. I was like, son of a bitch. Try to trade that arcade version for the new one, they're like, we'll give you $1.50. Yeah, that game is garbage. I just paid $30 for the new version and kept the arcade version. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I never opened it, so we'll see what happens. But there's also Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection. I got this off of, I think, a Best Buy sale where it was like buy 3, or buy 2, get 1 free, buy 3, get 1 free, something like that. I haven't played it yet, but it has a ton of Street Fighter games on it. You got the original Street Fighter, which is absolute doo-doo. Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition, Street Fighter 2 Turbo Fighting, Super Street Fighter 2, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Street Fighter Alpha, Alpha 2, Alpha 3, Street Fighter 3, Street Fighter 3 Part 2, Street Fighter 3.3. Meh. I also have the Street Fighter game on the Switch, the one that has like the version that was available on the PlayStation 3 that was kind of like playing a Flash art version of Street Fighter. I can't remember what that one was called. But I wanted to pick this up because I have all of those Street Fighter games in one place. And I don't have to buy a copy of Fighting Street for the TurboGrafx now because I got it here. I don't want to pay those exorbitant prices for a shit game. Oh, like they did. Oh yeah, I actually have the Street Fighter movie game for the Saturn. It's probably the best version you're ever gonna get. Streets of Red got this through limited run. I think I talked about this in my pickups video, beginning of the month or at the end of last month. But I picked this up because I thought it was. I didn't know anything about it. I picked it up because I thought it was a parody of Streets of Rage, Streets of Red, because I knew that limited run was going to be selling Streets of Rage 4, physically eventually. So I figured this was the reason they were selling it, was because it was a parody of it. Turns out, no, it's like a. I think it is a beat 'em up. It's a horror beat 'em up that bestows players the skills of retro gaming heroes in a fight against a legion of undead monstrosities. But yeah, it has nothing to do with Streets of Rage. But for some reason, Freddy Krueger's up here. I'll eventually get around to playing it. This might be one of the next games I play. It sounds kind of fun. I like horror games. There's another one I got through limited run and never ordered or never opened it or never played it. I opened it because the disc was loose and I didn't want it to get all jacked up. We're talking Sundered, Eldritch Edition. I did plan on streaming this on Twitch and just never got around to it. Can't even tell you what the game's about because there's no artwork on the back. I hate that limited run does that. Just because you're selling a physical version of a digital game doesn't mean you shouldn't complete the artwork. Dumbasses. Here's another one from limited run, Super Hydra. It's another horizontally scrolling shmup, and I love my shmups, so I picked it up. Haven't played it yet. This one I played on the Xbox 360, but it was a digital game. I'm not big into digital games. I wanted it physically, and then I found out through, I think it was The Completionist, that it did get a physical edition in the UK. So I picked it up there. I got it through... Where did I get this? It wasn't off eBay. I can't remember. Maybe Amazon? But Super Meat Boy got a port to the PlayStation 4. And it's like a puzzle platformer, but your character is like a little meat cube that leaves blood streaks everywhere you go, and you have to climb up walls and jump around, do crazy acrobatic-y things, and try not to get ground up or splattered across something. It was a lot of fun when I was playing this on the PlayStation or the Xbox 360, so I definitely wanted to have an upgraded version for the PS4. Here's another limited run I haven't opened up, but the Swapper. Can you see it? The Swapper. Stupid light. Haven't played it, so I can't tell you what it's about. It just says, what if somebody knew your mind better than you did? It's an award-winning, narrative-driven puzzle game set in the farthest reaches of space. Science fiction. This was when I was trying to get all the limited run games that were coming out, regardless if I gave a shit if I was going to play them or not. But yeah, I might keep that one. I might not. I haven't decided yet. Got this one because Radical Reggie talked me into it. I have the first two games. Was it the first two or just the second one? No, I think it was the first two. On the Xbox, the OG Xbox, we're talking Siberia 3. It's like a adventure, point-and-click adventure type game. And Radical Reggie always brags about how much he loves the storyline in these games. I haven't really put a whole lot of time into the other ones. But he says you don't have to play those because there's a recap in here for the other two games. So you can just go straight into this one. But you know what? I think I still want to play the first two to see what it's all about. I'll eventually get around to playing those. Maybe I'll stream them now that I'm getting back into streaming. Tachyon Project. So I got this one through PlayAsia. Got the limited edition through PlayAsia. And like all these limited editions that you get through PlayAsia, this comes with a soundtrack, which I have yet to open, and a card to let you know the numbered edition that you got. So I got number 1393 out of 2000, so pretty low or high on the list. So yeah, what else is in here? There's something else in here. What is it? What could it be? Oh, it's a manual. Why is the manual outside the game box? That's dumb. Fail, PlayAsia. Epic fail. We forgot to put them in there. Sorry. Yeah, well, I forgot to give you money, too. Close up, damn it. But this is, I do believe, a twin-stick shooter, kind of like the Stardust games. So, that's why I picked it up. Haven't played it yet. Next up, we have Team Sonic Racing. I picked this one up because I was watching Pete Dorr stream this on Twitch, and I was like, I've never played any of the early Sonic Racing games. I did play Transformed on my Vita, which I thought was pretty cool, so I was like, what would a next generation version of that be like? And it's okay. I still like Mario Kart better. You know, every major franchise has to have its own kart racing game. You know, Crash Bandicoot's got one, Sonic's got to have one. Hello Kitty has one, you know. So I wanted to try it out. I played it for like a day, and I was like, it's okay. And I just never went back to it, so, yeah. I know a lot of people prefer it to Mario Kart, but not this guy. Oh, son of a bitch. No, don't go! So how's everybody doing? Anyway, I forgot to talk about the Slain limited edition that I got that came with a manual and the soundtrack. I was talking about how awesome the music was. I forgot to show that off. Definitely listen to that soundtrack. It's fantastic. Anyway, back to whatever game this was. Okay. Tearaway Unfolded Crafted Edition. This is a port of a PS Vita game, and because the PS Vita was not a huge hit, Sony was trying to port most of the really good games that they put a lot of effort into over to the PS4 to try to make some money back. So you got Gravity Rush, we got this. I think there might be one other one. Surprised they never ported over the Uncharted game, which was really fantastic. But this kind of used the touchscreen on the Vita because you could drag your finger across it and you can like rip, I think, the level open and stuff like that. But I haven't played this version of it, so I couldn't tell you if it's what the differences are between that and the Vita version. Picked this one up at a Target because it sounds awesome. I need to get around to playing it, but it's an RPG. Technomancer. I love RPGs. I love cyberpunk. I love all that kind of stuff, so this sounded pretty awesome. It's about magic. It's a sci-fi RPG set on Mars. That's all I needed to see when I picked this up to look at it to make me want to buy it. Haven't played it yet, though. I remember I was getting ready to stream this. Vita! What up? What's up, Shondo? How's it going, dude? Bruh? How's it going, bruh? Oh, Shelly. I'm trying to get back into collecting for my Vita, TJ. Seriously, I am. After I did the 3DS and Vita stream, I charged up my Vita. Like I said, I hadn't charged up my Vita in like 2 years. And started playing games on it. And I was just like, I miss playing this thing. It's so good. So I'm getting back into it. Just got 2 more games today. You son of a bitch. Where's my economic stimulus check, Trump? I need to buy the games. I don't recommend buying this one, though. And that's Tempest 4000. So, I used to have a Jaguar back in the day. I was really excited about it because one of my friends told me that Tempest 2000, which came out on the Jaguar, was probably one of the coolest games he'd ever played. That had music that he could not believe was coming out of a cartridge. It was like 90s techno. And he goes, I can't believe that it's not a CD-based game. It's a cartridge and it has music this good. I was like, okay. And I played it and I loved it. And eventually we got like a Tempest 3 on the PlayStation 1. It was Tempest X Cubed. Basically the exact same game, just a couple of extra bonus levels mixed into it. And then I heard that there was a Tempest 4000 coming out, and I got a freaking geek boner. I was like, oh my god, yes, Tempest 4000, what's this going to be like? And once again, it is the exact same game as Tempest 2000, just with even more psychedelic crap flying at your face. It is so hectic. There is so much crap going on, it's hard to play. So I do not recommend it. I streamed it the day it showed up. I was so excited about this. I ripped it open, put it on my PS4, streamed it, and you could watch that stream and watch my disappointment set in gradually, where I'm just like, oh my god, it's a new Tempest game. And then I was like, oh, well, I can't see what I'm doing. There's so much stuff flying at my face. I can't understand. What? I'm like, and then I was like, you know what? Stream over. So I don't recommend this. It has the exact same music as the Jaguar version, which pissed me off to no end. You guys couldn't come up with some new music? What? Exact same graphics, exact same control scheme. Everything is the same. Nobody wants crap in their face. No, I don't either. I'm doing good, dude. How are you? Here's another one I got through limited run. Haven't played it yet. Tharsis, the limited edition. Don't know anything about it. Haven't opened it. Haven't played it. Eventually, I'll get around to it. Picked this one up a long time ago. Long time ago. Like when I first got my PS4 through a sale on the Square Enix website. We're talking the remake of Thief. Haven't played it. It's still sealed. Just never got around to it. But it's a first-person stealth game. Here's another limited run game. Church told me this one was awesome, so that's why I wanted to get it. And that's Time Spinner. It looks like an old-school side-scrolling Castlevania-style game. Retro graphic type stuff. Looked fantastic. He talked about it a lot, made me want to get it, so I did. Horror VR games. That's next week, man. I'm going to be talking about all the VR stuff, but I would recommend Home Sweet Home or what's it called? The Persistence. Let me see. Time Carnage. Arizona Sunshine is okay. Picked this one up for like $5 off of Amazon, and it's Titan Quest. I really knew nothing about it, and then I saw that it is a dungeon crawler RPG, and I was like, oh, yes, that is right up my alley. You streamed Home Sweet Home last night? It's so creepy. Yeah, I haven't played it yet. I actually sent Captain Algebra a copy of it. I had ordered it a long time ago, totally forgot that I had it in my collection, and then I was like, oh, I need to get some new VR games, so I ended up actually purchasing a second copy by accident. Tried to return it. The guy wouldn't take it back, so I gave it to Captain Algebra for his birthday. But yeah, I'm eventually going to play through this. Definitely. Here's a weird one. I think this is the first game strictly limited ever released, and they were like a no-namer company at the time. I knew nothing about them. I thought I was getting ripped off, but I purchased this because everyone kept on saying Cyberpunk, which is like one of my favorite things ever. So I picked up a copy of Tokyo 42. It's an isometric open world shooter. So it's kind of like Syndicate, the old Syndicate, the one that Bullfrog made back in the day. So I wanted to pick it up, but I haven't gotten around to playing it yet because I'm stupid. We're just talking about Shadow of the Tomb Raider. We got the original Tomb Raider, the definitive edition. Absolutely love this game. Love this reboot series. Each one, I think, got better and more ambitious. It's a great reboot of the series with a younger Lara Croft. You get to see like her origins, sort of. And it's fantastic. A little bit too much gunplay. Not a whole lot of explorating. Is that even a fucking word? Exploration of tombs, like in the title. I need to drink a drink. That's my only issue with it. But it's a super fun game, great storyline, great action, all that. Really awesome reboot of the franchise. So I streamed this. I found this at GameStop. I got the last copy to come with a steelbook. But this was, I think, another Kickstarter game. And I was really excited about it because everyone was talking about how this is a spiritual successor. I freaking hate that term. A spiritual successor to a PC RPG that everybody loves and I'd never played because I'm not a PC gamer. So I was like, oh shit, I need to get this. I need to try this out, see what it's all about. So I was like, I'm going to stream it and it's going to be awesome. And it turns out this is the exact wrong game you want to stream because there's like nothing going on. It's all talking to people. And we're talking Torment, Tides of Numenera. This is the day one edition. I got the steelbook at the GameStop. They were like, oh, well, you got the last one. Oh, I guess I can't take it home now. Oh. Yeah, Tomb Raider's awesome, dude. You need to play them. They're fantastic. But this comes with a bunch of downloadable stuff and a soundtrack. It's an RPG. It's like a isometric RPG. But it's a lot of just talking to people like a classic RPG is, where you're just standing around. You get like stories from people. There's barely any combat, at least when I played it, and I was like, I was falling asleep while I was streaming it. I mean, like, I would watch people coming in and dropping out of the stream so fast because no one wanted to watch me play this boring-ass game. So now that I have, this is what's it called? Planescape Torment is the game that this is supposedly a spiritual successor for. Now that I have that for the Switch, I'm going to play that and then come back to this and try it again. Tukiden Kiwami. This is a remaster of a 3D beat-em-up that I do believe is kind of like playing a Dynasty Warriors game. I have a version of this on the Vita, and I want to say this is a remaster of the Vita version. I think this is the one I was talking about when I was saying that there was another Vita game that got transported over to the PS4. I think that's what this is. More like Monster Hunter? Really? Monster Slaying Adventure. Yeah, I should raid the back one of these days. I got this while I was visiting my brother in LA. My brother, it was Christmas time. My brother, his girlfriend, and my mother decided to go into a Bed Bath & Beyond at this mall in LA to go and buy some stuff for Christmas. I don't celebrate Christmas at all. So I was like, you guys can go and do that. I'm going to go to the GameStop on the 3rd floor. And I went up there and I found this there for like $5 or $6. So that's why I picked it up. I still haven't gotten around to playing it. Monster Hunter is the exact wrong game for me. I will never play a Monster Hunter game. I do have the Vita version of that Kiwami game, Dukeden. Toy Soldiers War Chest. This is the Hall of Fame edition. I picked this up at a Black Friday sale at GameStop. And this is like a strategy game, but the cool thing is, it's like you're a kid playing with your toys. And it's like, you know how when you're a kid, you don't give a crap that the He-Man toys aren't the same size as the Star Wars toys, and the Thundercats are bigger than all of them. You play with all of them together, kind of like in the movie Toy Story. You know, like you're playing with all these mixes of toys together. So it makes sense that you've got Masters of the Universe, G.I. Joe, and Assassin's Creed characters in this thing to play as together, which is kind of awesome. That's why I picked it up. I was just kind of like, oh, that's like my childhood right there. Why not? Except for the Assassin's Creed part. So I picked this up. I got it dirt cheap. This is a freaking awesome game. Transformers Devastation. This was by Platinum Games, one of my favorite developers. And when I heard that they were making a Transformers game, like a beat-em-up Transformers game that was Generation 1, like the old cartoon I used to watch when I was a little kid, I like almost shit my pants. So I pre-ordered it. You would not believe how fast I ran over to that GameStop and pre-ordered it. Got a free... I still have my receipt in here, too, with my code. Ooh, it's got my special code for my DLC, which I think I used. Yep, there it is. Oh, Jesus. And it is a fantastic game. The music is a little weird because it has like this like death metal score, which is a little strange for Transformers. But it's cool. I mean, it gets you amped up to beat things up. But lots of... tweaking for your characters. There's like all these like little things you can add on to them that you don't really see when you're playing as them, but they will make your attack stronger or your defense better, whatever. But just playing as Optimus Prime and beating the shit out of Devastator in the town square, oh, so good. Then we come to Transformers Rise of the Dark Spark. This is part 3 of the Cybertron games that started like on the generation prior. So you have was it War of Cybertron, and I can't remember what the second one was called or whatever. But this is like the 3rd game in the series, and I picked this up at a Walmart. I got the special Walmart edition that comes with a code to unlock Stinger, who I think is from Transformers Dark of the Moon. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to play it yet because I haven't beat those other games in the series on the other consoles yet. So I didn't want to have anything spoiled. It's no Sammy Hagar, that's for sure. Yeah, the Devastation is probably my favorite Transformers game I've ever played. A lot of people will say those Cybertron games on like the Xbox 360 and the PS3 are their favorites, but that one right there makes my nipples hard. Anyway, Transistor, another game that I bought from Limited Run and still haven't played, but this is another one that I do believe it was Church who was talking me into buying this one, but it looks like a platformer. At least this one has pictures on the back. No, it is a sci-fi themed action RPG that invites players to wield an extraordinary weapon of unknown origin as they fight through a stunning futuristic city. Okay. Transistor. It looks kind of cool. I'll eventually get around to playing all these games. Promise, maybe. The one and only time I've ever bought anything from OfferUp was for this game. I just got my PS4. And I was trying to get games, and I was trying to get them as cheaply as possible. So I got this through OfferUp. I met the woman that was selling it at a local Dunkin' Donuts, and it looked like to me like she was treating it like I had just gotten a date with her through OkCupid. She was sitting at the table, all dressed up. She was sitting there nursing a coffee. She expected me to sit down and have a conversation with her and all that. And she was like, oh, this game was my son's, and he doesn't play it anymore, so I thought I'd put it up for sale. You want a coffee? And I was like, no, I want to go and play this game. So I basically gave her the money, took the game, and walked out. So we're talking Trials Fusion. I played a demo of this and I loved it so much. It's like I'm sure you all played it. There's another one that just came out called Trials Rising, I think. But it's like a physics-based motorcycle puzzle game. It's strange. It's like you need to get from point A to point B, and you have to do all these crazy things with your motorcycle, but it's all about physics, which is kind of interesting and fun. So I wanted to get this. I got it for like $8 from this lady, and maybe I could have talked her into buying her a coffee, and I could have gotten it for free. I don't know. But I was not sitting there looking to get a piece of ass at a Dunkin' Donuts. This one's relatively new. We're talking the Treen Collection. You get to know what I'm saying. Get that game for free. I got this off of Amazon. I pre-ordered it. It has Treen 1, 2, 3, and 4 on it. The Treen Ultimate Collection. And these are platformers, I do believe. Yeah, puzzle platformers. And I think they're all digital games at first. I don't remember ever seeing these. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't remember ever seeing any of these in physical form before this, which is why I jumped on it, because I was like, I've heard of those. I see them all the time whenever I go on like the PS Plus or whatever, and I see it advertised like, oh, you should buy this game. It's supposedly really good. No. So that's why I bought this. Haven't had a chance to play it yet. The only reason it's opened is because the disc was loose in there. Got this through limited run also. Another one that I ordered while I was at the Midwest Gaming Classic. You know, the Friday the convention always starts. And I remember this is when I was waiting for Church, the Game Grinder, and Jason of Corpseful Gaming to come and meet me for dinner. And I was standing in the lobby of the convention waiting for them to show up so we could all go out. And I was like, oh yeah, limited run. Put some games up for sale today. So I picked up Typo Man Revisited. And it looks like a puzzle platformer, kind of like Inside or Limbo, except there's a little bit more color in it, which is why I wanted it. It looked kind of awesome. Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I remember this was an exclusive with GameStop or whatever, and I had to track this. You would not believe what I had to do to track this down. Like, I was talking to Radical Reggie. He was telling me that I needed to get it because he had just gotten one at a GameStop. I called my local GameStop. They didn't have it. Ordered a copy of it off of eBay, paid way more than I should have, and then 2 days later, while it was still in the mail being shipped to me, I went to the GameStop by my work, and there was a copy of this bitch sitting on the shelf, and I said, son of a bitch. I mean, I picked it up, I bought it right then and there, and then the moment that one showed up from eBay, I sent it back and got a refund. But obviously, it's a remastered version of, well, I don't know if it's remastered, but the complete edition of Marvel vs. Capcom 3. And it's kind of fantastic. I streamed a little bit of this, and people were watching. I didn't have my microphone hooked up. I was talking, thinking people could hear me, but they couldn't. I was talking so much smack while I was playing this game. I pretty much owned this game in one try. I think I chose Strider, Ryu, and Mega Man in the same group, and I blew through the game without getting any. I didn't lose any of my characters the entire time. I never got knocked out. So, yeah, I whooped the shit out of this. It is so much fun. Great fighting games, real hectic. You all know this. Here's another one with a box. So, oh, I farted. Uncharted 4, A Thief's End. This is one of my favorite franchises in video games ever. Back in 2008, I want to say, back when I was living in the burbs, I got contacted by my brother's girlfriend, and she said that a guy she knew from college was earning his PhD in psychology, and he was doing something on the way video games affect people's psyche, and he was doing these at-home studies, and he wanted to get groups of people together to talk about their video game experiences. So we did. I got paid to do it. He was paying me to do it, to host it. I got paid $150 to host it, the group. I got a bunch of my friends together, and we sat around and we talked about video games, and we also had to make a collage about the emotions that come out of us when we play video games. And me being kind of a pretty decent person at Photoshop, I had done this Photoshop recreation of the way that playing a video game is like a roller coaster. So I had a loop of a roller coaster, and I put all the different emotions you feel along the loop. And I ended up winning the prize, which was a brand new iPod, or iTouch, or whatever it was, and all my friends were pissed at me for that. But the one thing I was always talking about was, because I just started playing the original Uncharted back then, was how that game was putting me through the emotional ringer, the way it was set up. You end up, really coming to love these characters, and, I really gave a shit if they lived or died. And it shows that other people did too, because now they're on part 4 of the series, which is the last one, and they made that spin-off to capitalize on that also. I think it was supposed to be like DLC, and they just released it as a separate game. But Uncharted 4 is probably my favorite game in the franchise. I got this limited, or what is it called? I can't remember, it doesn't say. It's not limited edition. Could be? I don't know. Special edition. Comes with a steelbook version of the game, which I played through so quick. You have no idea. Absolutely loved every second of it. Comes with an art book. And I think that's it. Yeah, it just came with an art book. That's all I got. Damn it. I should think it would have come with a soundtrack or something. I did have the soundtrack of this, the special edition soundtrack I got on vinyl through I Am 8-Bit that was like only released like 100 copies of it. Excuse me. Jesus. The albums looked like the pirate coins. It had art behind the vinyl, the clear vinyl, to look like the pirate coins that you were picking up in the game. And they only made like 100 copies of those, and I ended up snagging one of them, and I ended up selling it for a lot of money. So, Uncharted 4 is probably one of my favorite games on the PlayStation 4. And then there's also the follow-up, which, like I said, I do believe it was supposed to be like an add-on to this, but they ended up saying it's too long, and they released it as a separate game about a year later, and that's The Lost Legacy, which is very good. It's awesome. Nate is not in this at all. You're stuck with Chloe, and I can't remember the other girl's name from, she was in this also. Nadine, who was like one of the villains in part 4. They've teamed up, and I ended up streaming this in one sitting on Twitch. I beat it in one sitting. I started playing it at like 5 in the afternoon, and I didn't finish playing it until 4 in the morning the next day. I'm not crazy. But it's a great game. I was at first I wasn't liking it because I'm like, is this all this is? Is just going in these little tomb things, finding an item, and then coming back out? Is that all this is? And then all of a sudden the story took off. And it was like another 6 hours of gameplay. And I was like, okay, this is awesome. This is what I signed up for. Absolutely loved it. Uncharted 4 is probably like part 2 was my favorite for the longest time. Like I've talked about this before. I want to say it was like in my top 10 games of all time video that I did years ago. It takes a lot for me to get like super emotionally invested in a video game. And part 2, when, spoiler alert, when you think that, oh, Jesus. Elena, when you think Elena has died at one point, like, I cried. Like, I legit cried. Because I liked her character so much. I was like, no! Like, I remember sitting there going, no! And then it turned out to be bullshit. She was still alive, and I was just like, ha! You know, it's weird. From that point on, I was like, this series is my series. This is my series for life. But that was my favorite game for the longest time, and now part 4 is my favorite game in the series. Undertale, still haven't gotten around to playing this, but it's an RPG, and it's like old school graphics and stuff, but there's like a lot of different ways you can play it. Like, I know there's people that have done like these no fight runs and stuff like that. Like, I guess you can avoid fighting completely somehow. I haven't played it, so I don't know, but it's an RPG, and I really need to play it. Now, Jason at Corpse Like Gaming just beat it, so I think I need to too, so we could talk about it on our podcast. I have beaten this one, Until Dawn. Supermassive Games. It's like an interactive horror movie. It's absolutely fantastic. Absolutely love it. A lot of decently big-named actors in it. Like, there's an Oscar winner in here. Rami Malek, the guy who played Freddie Mercury in Bohemian Rhapsody. He's in it. Hayden Panettiere is in it. The guy who played the a-hole traitor on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I can't remember what his character's name was on that show, is in it. There's a lot of recognizable faces. But it's like an interactive, like big-time horror movie. And it's all about choices you make. You know, can you react fast enough to avoid getting slashed by these creatures or whatever? And I was like, just like when I was playing Detroit Become Human, I was doing fantastic for the entire game. Like, all of my characters were alive. And then in the last 10 minutes, I messed it up and everybody died, except for Hayden Panettiere. And I got like the worst ending that the game offers. So I need to go through and play this again. It is kind of a huge install on the hard drive, so I need to erase some stuff before I do that. But I need to play through it again and try to get a better ending. Because I'm guaranteeing there's probably like 30 different endings in this thing. Yeah, it's got the butterfly effect system. I can't imagine what all those endings are like and how many of them there actually are. Jesus. I just knocked over my speakers. Don't do that, Chris. Great game, though. Great game. There's the next game that company made. It's Man of Medan. I have it for the Xbox One. I definitely need to play through that. I'm sorry. I keep on sliding out of my chair. By the way, watch Hardware if you haven't yet. Got this last year on Black Friday through GameStop. Vampire. Haven't played it yet, but it's like a RPG. It's like a 3D third-person RPG with vampires and stuff. Sounded kind of cool. I remember Pam from Cannot Be Tamed was talking about this and kind of turned me onto it, so I definitely need to try this one out. Just haven't gotten around to it yet. It's open because the disc was loose. Really enjoy your Switch, but have to say I love my PS4 even more. Some amazing games. Yeah, that's before the Switch came out, when it was the Wii U, the PS4, and the Xbox One. The Wii was my favorite console back then because the games by Nintendo were so good. I was like, that's sustaining this console completely, and I absolutely loved it. And I had just gotten a PS4, so I didn't really have a whole lot of games, but the longer time went on, PS4 is now my system. And the amount of games I have, I mean, I had to split up this console collection into 3 different streams because I have so many games in this for this console. That pretty much goes to show how much I love the PS4. I dread to see what my PS5 collection is going to be once that comes out. Anyway, Velocity 2X Critical Mass Edition. I picked this up because I remember watching somebody talk about it online, and it sounded fantastic. What's up, Captain Algebra? You're going to love when I talk about this. Kenda Forever in Our Hearts, by the way. So I remember I talked Captain Algebra into buying this. I think it was one of my pickup videos. So the thing behind this is it's part shmup and part run and gun. And the shmup parts are kind of puzzly also. And I remember Captain was like, that sounds kind of cool, I need to have it. And then I actually played the game, and I was like, no. I kind of don't like it. It comes with a soundtrack, though, so that's good. But yeah, just for some reason, the way the game played, I was kind of like, eh. So I'm not really a big fan of this. I was like, I made a mistake. I tried playing it a couple of times, and I was just like, no. Here's another one that has a huge case. Oh, you got your GameStop games. Only 1 out of 6 were not in there. Okay, so you got lucky, dude. Oh, and the best one is the one that came without it, right? Last Guardian. That's some bullshit. Don't order games from GameStop online, people. Go to the store, even though you really can't do that right now. I'm sure you could call the store and ask if they have them. Anyway, we're talking Vesta. Got this from PlayAsia. This is the limited edition. And like all limited editions you get through PlayAsia, it comes with... This one comes with a huge art book, which is kind of cool. It also comes with a soundtrack, which I have not opened, and a card to let you know what edition yours is. There was 2,500 of these made. I got number 106. That's pretty damn good. Probably because nobody else bought this. And I do believe this is another twin-stick shooter. I have not played it yet. I keep buying these games and never play them. It's my MO. Yeah, this one I think is a twin-stick shooter, I do believe. Which is why I wanted it, because I love twin-stick shooters, but I just never got around to playing it. So, like, I bought like 3 games, I think, at the exact same time through PlayAsia, and I ended up playing... Oh, which one was it? Was it Rive? Or Reeve, or whatever it's called? That's the one I ended up playing. Just never got around to playing Vesta. I still do. I mean, it will happen eventually. But, yeah, great adventure with more than 30 levels, many enemies, puzzles to solve, and much more. Yeah, it looks like a twin-stick shooter. But it's isometric. Whatever. It'll get played. Since Wisconsin just opened back up, it's probably open now, but it wasn't before. Oh, man, I heard that someplace else, a couple of other places that have opened back up, they had spikes in the amount of people that got infected, so that's not a good thing. Here's one that I remember I also talked Captain Algebra into buying, and it's Victor Vran. This is the Overkill Edition. It is a dungeon crawler, but it's kind of horror-themed also. There's a DLC pack in here where you're playing through Motorhead World. You know, Lemmy? That is fantastic. It includes Motorhead Through the Ages, also the Fractured Worlds expansions, includes art cards, and a PlayStation exclusive samurai outfit. So this is like Diablo Light. I mean, it's not as good as a Diablo game, but it's pretty decent. Also comes with like all these postcards and stuff, and the card to get you your downloads. And I played this for a good long while, and then I kind of got burned out on it because it's not, like I said, it's not nearly as good as a Diablo game, especially, for someone who spent all that time playing Diablo 3, like playing Diablo 3 until the controller died in your hands. So, I mean, this is kind of like this cheap alternative. It's just not nearly as polished or good as far as I'm concerned, but it's still fun. I like it. Need to go back and play through it some more. You're not going anywhere. Don't go out. Stay safe, dude. Don't be stupid. I'm dreading when they start opening Illinois back up because I'm guaranteeing that the infection cases are going to go through the freaking roof. I mean, I keep on watching on Facebook. Friends of mine are like posting, I'm going to have to start going back to work, and I'm going to have to take the bus because I don't own a train, or I don't own a car. I don't want to take the bus. Like, the bus is where the sick people are going to be. Ugh. Just keep wearing your mask, keep wearing gloves. I'm going to sneeze, I think. Anyway, so earlier I was talking about, like, those Warhammer games and all that, and how I keep trying to get all of them, even though I've never really gotten into playing the tabletop version of Warhammer. That was the Space Hulk games. Now we've got the official Warhammer games. We have Warhammer The End Times, Vermintide, and Warhammer 40k Deathwatch. This one I do believe is another strategy game. I haven't had a chance to try it. Vermintide, I do believe, is a multiplayer game. It says it has a single player, but network players 2 through 4 it just says team up with 3 friends and work together to thin out the Rat Man's forces and drive them out of the city. So it looks like a third-person action game. I can't be sure, but there's a sequel to this. And there was also another Warhammer game that showed up on Amazon. The day it came out, it was like available for sale for like normal $60. And then like a week later, it was completely out of stock and like completely unavailable. And like copies were going for like $300 or something. I think it had Rat something in the title. And I was like, what happened there? I don't understand it. No, did I just put those on backwards? Damn it. Chris, you're dumb. Yeah. Anyway, so how's everybody doing? Everyone doing okay? Glad to see everybody's here. This is awesome. All my favorite people. Still haven't had a chance to play this. I got this like clearance at a Best Buy, and it's Wasteland 2 Director's Cut. It's a I don't think that's cyberpunk. It's like a post-apocalyptic RPG, kind of like the old school Fallout games. It's like isometric, and it's kind of like a dungeon crawler, I want to say. And it looked absolutely fantastic, right up my alley. Definitely had to have it. Just haven't gotten around to playing it yet. Like every other game in my collection. Shit. PS4 games are good, even cheaper. Damn right. Yeah, I can't wait for Friday, man. It's a long... This week has been long. I remember I got into a conversation with not Kelsey. Kinsey Burke, Kinzilla, about this game. And she was trying to convince me to play it, even though I bought it from I Am 8-Bit. I Am 8-Bit, I think they're still trying to do like the whole limited run thing, but they don't release games nearly as often. It's like every 3 months they might put a game up for sale that is from digital to physical. And I picked this one up because it sounded kind of interesting. It's a walking simulator. And then I bought it, and Kinsey saw one of my pictures and was like, you need to play that game right now. And I was like, I'll eventually get around to it. We're talking What Remains of Edith Finch. It's like a walking simulator, but it has a lot of H.P. Lovecraft stuff going on in it. And I think Church also brought that up also. That's much nicer on the limited run. No shit. Although tomorrow, limited run's coming out with Shantae 5. Gotta jump on that. I need to play it. It looks fantastic. I hear it's really short. It's probably 4 hours long. I really need to play it. I almost sold this next one because of Radical Reggie. Radical Reggie was like, if you want to get the real version of the game, get the Switch version. Because the Switch version has local multiplayer and this one doesn't. This has 1 through... There was something about this game that was missing that the Switch version has. It says here it has 1 to 4 players. I can't remember what it was he was talking about. Whatever. Wild Guns Reloaded. This is a port of an arcade game that got a Super Nintendo port. And if you want to get the Super Nintendo game, be prepared to pull out a second mortgage on your house because it is super freaking expensive. But it is an arcadey shmup. It's kind of like your characters are at the front of the screen shooting into the screen. And it's like a crazy steampunk western type of thing. It's a lot of fun. It's great. It's just there was something about this Reggie. Maybe it was online that he was talking about. Like a Switch version has online multiplayer or something. And then I realized I don't care. I don't want to play this online. I want to play it with my friends sitting with me on the couch. So I don't give a crap about the online. And I kept it instead. But this version I got came with a keychain because I pre-ordered it on Amazon. And it's a lot of fun. And now I have this. I don't need to get the Super Nintendo version because I have an Arcade Perfect one in the palm of my hand. Damn straight, yo. This one, I got this through limited run, but I've already been playing this on my Dreamcast. I have a repro that I got for my Dreamcast that has a whole shitload of Neo Geo games on one disc. And one of them is Windjammers. So I wanted to get this so I could have like a single, copy of it, like a copy dedicated to this game alone. But I haven't opened it because I really don't need to play it. I just wanted to give my support because I think this game is fantastic. It's like if you were to play Frisbee, volleyball, and Discs of Tron all combined into one game. It is really fantastic. It's basically like dodgeball. One person on one side of the screen, one person on the other. You have a Frisbee, and you're throwing it against the walls to ricochet and try to, I think it's like hit the person or hit the wall behind them. And it's a lot of fun. If you ever play Discs of Tron, it's the same concept. It is great. And the further you get in it, the harder it gets. It's awesome. Still haven't played The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Jason of Corpse Blood Gaming just recently beat this. He didn't realize how far he was into the game when he called it quits on it because he got burned out on it. And I think he said he only had maybe an hour left in the game to complete it. And then he finally said, oh yeah, I never did complete that Witcher 3 game a couple years ago. So he booted it back up and he was like, oh, I was basically done with the game at that point. So, but this is the complete edition. I was waiting to pick this up so I can get everything in one because this had a lot of DLC. 16 DLCs. Holy shit. But it's a RPG, third person, open world. I have the second game for the 360. The first game is PC only, so I'm going to have to start playing the second game and then play through this one because I'm not playing anything on the PC. Forget that noise. Yeah, before Church buys all the copies. Damn right. One of the only Telltale games I own physically because this is one of them that does not require downloads of the other chapters in the games aside from the first one, which is the only thing that's on the disc. The Wolf Among Us. It's one of their choose your own adventure style games. I love the Back to the Future game. I still need to play through the Jurassic Park one. But yeah, this is I think the last one that they released physically where it has all of the chapters that were released, one at a time digitally, all on the disc. Every one that came out after this was episode 1 is on the disc, but we're going to give you a code so you can download the rest. No, put them all on the freaking disc, dumbasses. But I still need to play through this one. It's all about the werewolves, so that's kind of awesome. Horror-themed one through them. I think the only other horror ones they did were The Walking Dead. And here's a huge-ass franchise of stuff. Yep. We got Wolfenstein The New Order, Wolfenstein The Old Blood, Wolfenstein Youngblood, and Wolfenstein 2 The New Colossus. Wolfenstein 2 comes before Youngblood, but first-person shooters from Bethesda. I absolutely love the Wolfenstein games from the past. The old pixely ones that came out for DOS were a lot of fun. The original Wolfensteins. Return to Wolfenstein on the Xbox is fantastic. I never played the one on the 360, even though I do own it, and I still haven't played through these. And, Jason from Corpse Blood Gaming recently played through New Order and Old Blood. I still need to do that. I hear that Young Blood, which is the newest one, is really super short. But I need to play through them because first-person shooters are my jam. And I'm surprised that it's taken me this long. I haven't played them yet, which is stupid. I mean, come on. You can tell I'm starting to get tired because I'm starting to ramble. Daddy needs some sugar. Here's another franchise. We got Wonder Boy Returns and Wonder Boy The Dragon's Trap. So, from what I understand, this is a remake / remaster of the original Wonder Boy. And we all know that Wonder Boy The Dragon's Trap is a remake of, I think, the third game in the series that came out for the Master System, which I have played. I have played the Master System version, and I have played this. And the cool thing is you can switch between the Master System version and the remastered graphics in this whenever you want. And it's kind of cool. It's not like a side-scrolling platformer like the original game is. This one's kind of more like an adventure, slight RPG elements to it. It's a lot of fun. I need to complete it. I didn't get very far in it, but I liked it. Still haven't played this. I got this through Strictly Limited. And yeah, I do believe this is a remaster. Yeah, the classic arcade masterpiece, Wonder Boy, returns in high definition. I definitely need to play through this, and it's not going to be that hard because I've beaten the original one I don't know how many times. I still need to play through this. XCOM 2 collection. This has XCOM 2, the base game, the War of the Chosen expansion, plus 4 DLC packs, over $100 in value. This is why I wait for these complete versions to come out. I absolutely love the PlayStation 3 XCOM games. I rented the first one from the library that's right across from where I work, and I fell in love with it. Like I returned that thing like a week late. I was playing it nonstop. I loved it. It's a team-based strategy game, and it's about an alien invasion. You play as a bunch of specialists. You have different types of soldiers you can choose from. You can change their layout and their loadout to whatever you want, and then you go out in a team of 3, and you have to take out the bad guys. And it's a lot of fun, and that was the game that made me realize I love these like strategy, tactical type games like that. And naturally, I was all excited about part 2, but I knew that there was going to be expansions for it, so I waited, and I eventually found this at a Target during Black Friday, so I got it about half off. I got this for like $30, and I was super excited. I still just need to find time to play it. Another limited run game, Zeo Drifter. This is a Metroidvania, but it also came out on the Vita. Have you been playing a lot of Predator? Yes, I have. I finally started playing as the Predator. Hang on a second. Let me finish talking about this. Yeah, it's like a 4-hour game, and this also came out on the Vita, and this was one of the games that when I was getting ready to go to Gen Con, I was trying not to buy any games. I was trying to save money, so I skipped over buying this on the sell-through day, and I was like, I'll just get it on eBay after the fact. And when I did do that, the Vita game, which was originally selling for like $25, was going for like $120, and I was like, what? I don't understand that at all, because I wanted it for the Vita, because I heard it was a shorter game. It'd be something I'd rather play in my hand than on my TV. But this was only going for like $35. So I was like, the hell with that Vita version, I'm getting the PS4 version. But like I said, it's a Metroidvania, and it looks like a lot of fun. It's all pixel graphics and stuff. So there's that. But yes, I've been playing a lot of Predator. I unlocked another weapon as the Predator. I've only played as the Predator, I think, 3 times, and I suck at him because the core game is first person when you're playing as a soldier, but it's third person when you're playing as a Predator. And the last couple times I played, the moment I've gotten close to the soldiers, all of a sudden this alarm pops up that says, "You've been spotted," and I get annihilated. I like playing shorter things in my core. Come on, man. I don't like to brag. Anyway, back to the games. Okay, so franchise that I like because I started playing these on the PS2, and they've been steadily coming out for the PS3 and the PS4, and now every game in the franchise except for the spin-off, which is not that good, is available for the PS4. And we're talking Yakuza. We got Yakuza 0, which I still need to play because it's still wrapped. Yakuza Kiwami, which is a remaster of the first game. Yakuza Kiwami 2, which is a remaster of the second game. We also have the Yakuza Remastered Collection, which has Yakuza 3 Remastered, Yakuza 4 Remastered, and Yakuza 5 Remastered. And 5 never came out over here. It was released digitally. It was released in Japan, physically and digitally. We got a digital version of it over here. Not going to digitally download that shit. So there was such an outcry for Part 5 since we never got it over here that they put it on this collection. And because it originally came out on the PS3, the collection includes like an empty PS3 case for Yakuza 5, which is kind of awesome. I really like that they did that. But all 3 of the games come in this collection. And then we have the final game in the series, Yakuza 6, The Song of Life, which I was so excited about that I bought the After Hours Premium Edition. This thing is a mammoth special edition. I don't buy these like premium edition things very often, if at all. The only reason I bought this was it was after it had been released. Love the Yakuza is awesome. I was playing 1 and 2 on the PS2, and I loved it. But I kind of wanted to wait until I could have all the games in the series, because by then I'd had the games. There's another game that came out for the PS3 called Yakuza Dead Souls, which is just a 3D beat 'em up where you're fighting against zombies, which is kind of stupid. Anyway, this was after the game had been released for a while. I had bought the mid version of this. There was like a special edition of this that came in like a cardboard case, but it was so oversized it actually wouldn't fit on my shelf where I keep all my PS4 games. And I was like, oh, this is bullshit. And me being OCD like that, I'm like, where am I going to put it? So I brought it back, got my money back, went home, and Jason had said something. Jason from Corpse Flood Gaming had said something like the Song of Life, the premium edition or whatever, had gone up for sale on Amazon. So I checked it out, and this was like half off. I think it was like $100-some, and I got it for like $60, which is basically the price of the standard game. So I was like, yeah, I'm not passing that up. And this thing comes with a couple of stone ice cubes, a bunch of coasters, an art book, and 2 tumblers that are like etched with Yakuza art. Yeah, it comes with a hardcover art book, 2 bar glasses that can hold 280 mLs, 2 ice stones, 2 coasters, and the game in a collectible outer box. Yeah, this thing is heavy too. I'm not going to take everything out, but trust me, I showed it in the pickup video that I did before. Yeah, this is the final game in the series that involves the main character of, what's his name? I can't remember his freaking name. Kazuma. And there's a 7th game coming out, but it's starting over with brand new characters, so it's not really part of the main storyline. So, new characters. It's going to be awesome. I need to play through all these games. They look fantastic. I've watched people stream them. I need to play through these remastered versions myself. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. He'll be in 7? I thought that it was totally new characters. Here's another game I'm not sure if I'm going to keep that I got from Limited Run. It's called Yesterday Origins, and it's like a point-and-click adventure game. It says, who said immortality was eternal? I'm John Yesterday, and so are you. You've been alive for over 500 years. In 1501, you underwent an alchemic ritual making you immortal. Whenever you die, you come back to life at the age of your first death. However, you don't remember a thing. But it's an original storyline, intricate puzzles await you in Yesterday Origins, a new adventure game from Pendulo Studios. So yeah, it's like a point-and-click adventure, kind of like Myst. I thought it sounded okay, but like the more I thought about it, the more I'm just kind of like, I'm not so sure about this. So I might get rid of that one. I'm not sure. Oh, he appears in it. Okay, I was going to say, I know you're not going to be playing as him, because I've seen the artwork of the character that is like the lead in it. Yooka-Laylee, this is the spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie. I hate that term. And this is also, I think, a Kickstarter game, and I remember a lot of people were like all over it because like, oh, no one makes those collectathon games anymore. And then this came out and everybody hated it because they're like, it's not Banjo-Kazooie. No, it's not. Nintendo, I think, Rare owns that? But this was made by people that used to work for Rare. They wanted to make another game in the same vein as Banjo-Kazooie, just with new characters. But you got a chameleon and you got a bat instead of a toucan and a bear. But I haven't played it yet because I picked this up at a GameStop during a sale, and I haven't played it yet because once I bought it, I started hearing all the people bad-mouthing it, especially Derek from Stop Skeletons from Fighting. He was like pissed at this game. So I was just kind of like, eventually I'll get around to playing it. But I've never really been one for those collectathon games that were popular on the N64, mostly because I dislike the N64 completely. And then the final game I have to talk about today is another one from Limited Run. It's Ys Origin. This is I think the first game in the series, and it was a digital game only, and that's like super short from what I understand. This one's like 6 hours long, maybe. 3 game modes, several exciting environments, 3 playable characters with unique skill sets and powers, numerous artifacts and powerful relics to use, and breathtaking art direction. I remember listening to Johnny Millennium from the Happy Console Gamer talking about this, and he's like, it's a good game, it's just really, really short. And originally, I do believe this was like a Steam game or something like that. and eventually got ported over to the PS4. But yeah, he was complaining mostly because he said it was like super duper short. Ys oranges. But I need to get back into the Ys series. I have a couple of them for the various consoles, but I have played Ys Book 1 and 2 on the TurboGrafx CD, and those games are fantastic. I absolutely love them. The music is great. Yuzo Koshiro. But yeah, I need to get into that franchise because it's an RPG, but it's also more of an action RPG, so I like it a lot more than your standard one. But whatever. I'm starting to ramble now because I'm really tired. Talking for an hour and a half. Where's you out? Anyway, so that is it. Yeah, you run into the enemies to fight them, and it's all about like a dice roll, kind of like when you're playing Dungeons and Dragons, where it's like a randomized if you get hit or you do a hit or you take a hit. But the more fight skill you have, the more of a chance you have of performing a hit. It's strange. It took me a little while to get used to it when I was playing it on the TurboGrafx, but once you do, it is a lot of fun. It's a lot more fun than slapping a button. You know what I mean? It's kind of cool. I like it a lot. Anyway, so yeah, that's it for my collection for my PlayStation 4. Next week I'll be back with my PlayStation VR collection, which every time I do one of these PlayStation 4 streams, I take out the VR games from the group of games I'm going to be talking about, and I have a lot more PSVR games than I remember ever buying. So yeah, that's going to be another long-ass video. So next week, PlayStation VR games stream Thursday, 7 p.m. Central. Stay tuned for that. And then the final stream will be about my Switch, which will be the week after that. And then I might just go right into streaming games all over again. I've been working on my Streamlabs, trying to set it up so it looks kind of cool. Musty Hobbit's been helping me out with it. Any more PS games? I don't have that many? No. Stop talking that shit. Yeah, I'm going to start streaming games on Twitch on Thursdays once my video game live streams are over. And I'll be getting back into the edited content. I really need to get on the ball with that. I haven't done any edited content since January, and it is now mid-May. Shame on me. But anyway, yeah, I hope to see you guys next week for the PSVR stream. It's great that everybody came here to talk and chit-chat and all that. My next collection video will be PS4. I'm not sure where I'll go, when I'll get around to it, though. Yeah. How many PS4 games do you think you have, Cap? I bet you don't have nearly 400 like I do. Not that I'm bragging or anything. As you can see, I have so many PS4 games, I don't know when I'm going to be able to play them. But anyway, once again, thank you, everybody. Stay safe out there. Do whatever you can to not contract this thing. My brother he's had the COVID for the past 6 weeks. And it doesn't seem like it's getting any better. He's not like dying or anything like that. It's just like it caused a whole bunch of extra problems. Like because of having COVID, he caught bronchitis and everyone thought he had pneumonia. And it's like he's finally starting to get better. So this is some serious shit. Some people it seems to burn through real fast. My brother, like I said, he's been sick for 6 weeks. So this is some serious stuff. So you need to protect yourself. He's basically been locked in his bedroom at his apartment in LA for 6 weeks because he has a roommate and he cannot infect her. So yeah, it's pretty shitty, and he's lost a ton of weight. I finally saw a picture of him. I haven't seen him in person since December, and I finally saw a picture of him today, and he looks like he was heavy set like me. He not so much anymore. He lost like a good 30-40 pounds. It's crazy. But anyway, stay safe out there. I hope everyone's okay. I will see you next Thursday evening for the PSVR stream. Have a good night, everybody. Talk to you later. Old ass retro gamer out.